Humza Yousaf was brought back down to earth with a thump after one survey gave the Nats 40 seats, but Labour is expected to make significant gains in Scotland. The SNP is on track to lose 30 seats at the next general election, according to analysis of every seat in the UK. Dozens of Nat MPs will be left sweating for their futures when the UK goes to the polls later this year. While SNP figures were buoyed by a poll on Wednesday predicting their losses would be limited to just a handful of MPs, the forecaster Election Maps UK predicts the Nats will hold just 18 seats once the votes are counted. Labour is tipped to win 28 seats, up from 1, as the party forms a majority at Westminster. Scotland is expected to buck the trend with the Tories clinging on to their 6 MPs. The Lib Dems are forecast to win 5 seats. Labour is expected to dominate in the Central Belt, but there is still everything to play for in several constituencies where the race looks like being extremely tight. East Kilbride and Straven, which Tory defector Lisa Cameron won for the SNP in 2019, is expected to go to Labour by just 0.4%. And there is less than 2% between Sir Keir Starmer's party and the SNP in Paisley and Renfrewshire South, Paisley and Renfrewshire North, Cumbernauld and Kirkintilloch, Bathgate and Linlithgow and Livingston. The Lib Dem lead in Caithness, Sutherland and Easter Oss is also small, while the Tories are clinging on in Dumfries and Galloway and West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine. It follows a UK-wide poll by Find Out Now suggesting Humza Yousaf's party would win 40 seats in Scotland. However, most Scotland-specific surveys suggest the race between Labour and the SNP is too close to call in terms of the popular vote, with the fact the number of Scottish seats is decreasing also complicating the picture. It comes as polling experts say the SNP has suffered a dramatic loss in support since Nicola Sturgeon's resignation exactly a year ago. While the Nats were already on a downward trend, Mr Yousaf becoming party leader has accelerated the process. Pollster Mark Diffley, a former director of Ipsos Mori in Edinburgh, said the drop in support for the SNP and the related upturn in support for Labour meant the upcoming general election would be the most competitive in Scotland since 2010. He said, "What seems to have happened is that Nicola Sturgeon's resignation and then, equally as impactfully, the police investigation into the party finances, have sort of accelerated the fall in support that the SNP has seen." Mr Diffley added, "In the last year, basically they've lost around sort of 10 or 12 percentage points in support. So, gone from in the polls an average of sort of mid-40s, down to an average of being in the mid-30s. If the current polls are borne out in an election," he said, "Labour would make significant gains, particularly in the central belt of Scotland."